Alright, today we're looking at some measures of centre and spread. So we're just looking at two of these today. So one of them, measure of centre, is the mean. There is another one called the median that we will touch on today. So first of all, the mean, and then spread, standard deviation. So we've done quartiles, interquartile range. They're also measures of spread. So this mean and standard deviation is leading on to what's known as the normal distribution, which is the next lesson. So first of all, the mean, sometimes you hear it called the average, and now in mathematics, statistics, mean is the word that's used for it. Alright, so the symbol for mean is X with a line or a bar across the top. So that's when we get further down the track, this is a sample mean, not the population mean. So X bar is how it's pronounced or said. So X bar. And so to calculate X bar, as we know for the average, we add up all our numbers and we divide by how many we've got. So sum of all values and the number of values. Alright, so that's the mean. Alright, so when we do an example, find the mean of here's the numbers. Alright, so there we are. Now when we count these, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bits of information there, or 8 data points. So the mean, we would need to add all of those together. Alright, because I've prepared one earlier. 335 is what that comes to. And then we've got 8 data points. And when we take 335 and then we divide it by 8, you get 41.875. Now here's just an opportunity here to remind you again about significant figures. Now if you look at all our data points here, these data points, you'll notice they've all got 2 figures. Whereas this one here, 41.875, there's 5 figures in there. So we've got here now, we've got an answer which has more figures in it, which we think, than what we started with. So if we were thinking in terms of accuracy, we've got an answer that's 5 figures accurate, but information that we use to get that answer that's only 2 figures accurate. So our answer's accuracy can't be more accurate than the information. So if we were looking at significant figures, we would need to then make 2 figures, and so it's 41.8, and so we would need to round up to 42. Alright, that's to 2 significant figures if we were needing to work with significant figures. Alright, so as I said before, the mean is a measure of centre. As is the median. Alright, so the mean, you don't have to have it in particular order. The median, we've got to have them in order. If we're doing it by hand, have them in order. Now, the thing about the mean is that the mean is affected by skew and outliers. Alright, whereas the median doesn't. The median's the middle value, and so say you've got 11 values, then the sixth one is the middle, and it doesn't matter whether it's skewed one end or the other, or you've got outliers or whatever. Value number 6 is the middle. However, the mean, because you're actually using those values, is affected. And so I've got 3 examples here of things. So first of all, let's look at some data that's symmetric. All right, and so all of these are in order that I do with these. So 4, 7, 9, 12, and 18. Let me just redo that one. Still not any better. Let's try again. No, rubbed it all out now. Right, let's try again. There we go. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 data points. So the middle is that one there. So we can go that the median is equal to 9. Now, if we do this, and I've done this and prepared this earlier, if you add all these up and divide by 5, you find that the mean, x bar, will be equal to 10. So the mean is in here. So you can see both of those are close. So for a symmetric, both of those are good. So both good measures of centre. Alright, so let's look at now one where we've got some skewed data. Again, I'll put it in order. On 15, 120, 160, and 200. Alright, so you can see here, again, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bits of data. Alright, skewed data. So I'm not sure how we're going with this. So hopefully there's no muck up here. There's a bit of a glitch in my recording, so hopefully this kind of makes sense. So skewed data, here they are. I'll put them in order. 120, 160, and 200. Alright, so if we have a look at these and we count these up, we see there's 7 and 115 is the middle one. So that's our median, is 115. Now our mean, when we add those 7 numbers up, divide by 7, you get, if I've done my correct calculations correctly, 130. So 130 is in here. So as you can see where 130 is, it's closer to 120 than 160, but you can see that it's pushed down to that right hand end. So that skew, right, that big tail on the end here, this, going from 120, 160, 200, big long tail, has moved that mean down. So in this case, the median is the better measure of centre. The better measure of centre. Alright, so that's the skewy stuff. Now, outliers, and I also mentioned about outliers. So let's have a look at some data with some outliers. So here we start with the number 300, and then we jump all the way up to 670. And then after that, we've got a little bit of a spread here on this one, but they're all 690s, so into the 700s here. 730 and 750. Alright, so you can quite clearly see that there's an outlier there. Number 300 is way away from all the rest of the stuff. Alright, so let's have a look how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got 9 things there. So if we've got 9, then the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 700 is our median. So if you're looking at the notes that are on the website there, you'll notice I've made a mistake there. So the median is 700. Alright, bang in the middle there. Alright, the mean, if you add those up, divide by 9, you get 666. Now, Iron Maiden would be very pleased with that number. So 666 is right here next to 670. So as you can see there, that outlier, being so far away from all the rest of the data, has really pulled that mean down. So again, the median, oops, can't spell, median is the better measure of centre. Alright, so that's measures of centre, so the mean and the median, and there's the issue, some illustration of the issues around. So I also mentioned about spread. Now spread, there is a number of ways we can measure spread, and as I said, in the quartile range are 2 ways, and this thing called the standard deviation is another one. Now, standard deviation, it's a measure, whoops, it's a bit ugly, it's a measure of the deviation spread from the mean. Alright, X bar. So if we've got our mean in the middle here, X bar, then our standard deviation, S is the symbol, is how spread out it is from the mean there. Now on your calculator, it's in the calculator and where you get your data, your 1var stats, and when we were doing our 5-figure tables, it's in that list, and it's called SX is the one that we're using. Now, there is a mathematical formula for it. You don't need to know it or use it, but I'm going to show you what it is anyway. All right, so the formula for standard deviation is the square root of the sum of, so adding all stuff up, x minus x bar. All right, so the data, the mean, so your data point, take your mean away, square it, add all of those up, divide by how many things you've got, take minus 1. All right, so you're lucky you don't have to do that by hand. Back in the ancient times, that's what I had to do, because we didn't have calculators quite as fancy. All right, so your calculator, as I said, your calculator does that, so it's on the same screen as you do with your 1var stats. All right, and you're looking for SX. So let's have a look. I'm going to go over the next page here. So find the mean and the standard deviation. Of 176, 160, 163. Ugh, it's ugly. 163, 157, 168, 172, 173, 169. Okay, so your calculator doesn't care what the order is. Your calculator will take care of that. So you need to go to your stats, list 1, enter all of this stuff here, all of these, one underneath the other into list 1. Then go up to the calculate menu, your 1var stats, and then have a look at the information you're given. And the information you're given, x bar, which is up near the top of the list, 167.25, and the standard deviation, which is SX on that, is 6.67. Again, it's on that list there, up near the top of those. All right, and don't forget on the calculator the median is written as MED, and that's a little bit further down. But if you need it, there it is. All right, so if you're not sure about how to do that on your calculator, make sure you ask about that. Pretty easy, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. All right, so on our work plan here, so we've got exercises 2F part 1 and 2F part 2. Part 1's the mean stuff, and part 2 is the standard deviation. All right, as always, if you've got any questions, make sure you ask them.